Okay, so recording this. Welcome everyone. Vibecode Lisboa. This is a group that's been running for now about 3 years. It was previously a no-code group, and I pivoted about a year ago, and it's been strictly the AI stuff because, in my opinion, no-code is dead at this point. Like vibe coding is where it's at. So, so I teach people vibe coding. This is kind of a departure from what we normally do. So we're going to talk basically exclusively tonight about agents. And specifically, I'm going to show you a substitute for OpenClaw. There's been the events of the last weekend where Anthropic crackdown means that like a lot of people now are kind of fenced out of using OpenClaw just for cost reasons. And so I'm going to show you a setup that was like my reasons for coming to this were different. I actually came about a month ago just because I wasn't getting results out of OpenClaw. I found it really it just wasn't that capable. And I would have completely given up on it had I not already had experience with Claude Code, because I know Claude Code is super capable. It's incredible what you can do in it. And so my thesis was, with the new features that Anthropic has released, things like the channels was a huge one, being able to control it with Discord, could this become a viable substitute and a better substitute for OpenClaw? And it's just tailwinds this weekend with everything that happened. This is actually now making it even more important for people to switch off of OpenClaw. So I think hopefully this is going to be interesting for you guys. I didn't make PowerPoint slides. I kind of don't believe in them. I think it's more interesting to just talk and show you and go through your questions. And this should be like interactive. Like feel free to interrupt me, ask questions. Like let's make it as useful as possible for everyone in the room, right? Okay, so the vision, like for the people, is there anyone who doesn't know what OpenClaw is? Has everyone heard of it? Okay, great. It's an agent. It's open source. It's the fastest growing GitHub project in history, surpassing Linux and React and all these things. It has the most stars of any GitHub project at this point. It was bought by OpenAI about a month or two ago. And it's very popular. It's, in my opinion though, like I know people have gotten good results with it. I find it to be more like a parlor trick. Like it's fun and it's kind of cool, but getting any type of meaningful work, I wanted to use it for, serious stuff like you're talking about, like handling customer service and support and, helping me do like a content pipeline where it'll go help research and then help with the writing and help with the promotion of pieces. So I want to like actually get useful work out of it. And I could not get that with OpenClaw. And rather than me tell you this, I figure the best way is just to show you. We're just going to do a side-by-side comparison real quick. So I actually brought my OpenClaw instance back to life just for this demo, just to show you guys how bad it is. And then I'm going to decommission it afterwards. But let's just ask it a question. And one of the use cases that I was trying for was like the simplest of tasks. I wanted it to ingest my blog, like I write a Substack, and I wanted it to go and just read the last couple pieces and develop a brand voice, like see if it could extract the way I write and kind of mimic my own writing. And so that was the task, and it fumbled with that. So I'm just going to show you asking it. I like to use voice notes. It's easier than typing, so I will actually just use audio. So let's see here if I can do this. Oh, here, I'll do it via the phone. Okay, can you read the last couple blog posts on Substack? You can find the link on vibecodelisboa.com. Read the last couple blog posts and see if you can extract a brand voice document or update the brand voice skill with my style of writing and explain why you did it. So we'll see what it does here. So while it's doing that, I am now simultaneously going to ask the exact same thing of my current instance here. I'm going to do it again via phone. I don't think they have an audio version on the desktop, but I'm going to just do it via phone here. Okay, can you read the last couple blog posts on the Substack? You can find the link on the website, vibecodelisboa.com. Go read the last 3 blog posts and see if you can update the brand voice skill and just adapt it so it better represents my style of writing based on those 3 posts. Okay, so both of these are going to work in the background. Brand voice update. Okay, so it didn't actually show anything. Can you show what you changed? So Telegram is OpenClaw, Discord is Claude Code. And just what's going on right here in the background on the Claude Code version. So I have it set up. It's running on my Mac Mini. It's a Claude Code instance that's always on. And I have it so it uses something called tmux to persist the connection. And Discord is connected to it via their channels feature. So in the background, I can actually show you what it's processing right now in the background. So this is what it's doing. This is Claude Code. People will be familiar with it who've used it. But you can see its thought process. It's not reporting back all the chain of thought. It's only going to do its thing and then give me the final result. So it's decoded the audio message. It's fetching the Substack. Here you can see it's got the last 3. Can everyone read that, or does that need to be a little bigger maybe? So it's fetching the last 3 posts. It's doing its thing. Let's check in on OpenClaw. Okay. I don't know. To me, yeah, here's what it came back with. Direct and opinionated, clear statements, blend technical clarity with vivid analogies, concise, actionable language, consistent tone. So it actually succeeded, which is impressive. Like I've struggled to get it to even do this simple step, but it looks like it got it this time, which is cool. Let's see what model it's using. So you can actually switch. It's using Gemini 2.5 Flash. I have it set up so you can actually see there's different models available. So these are all the providers. I don't know if you can read that. Anthropic, Google, Grok, NVIDIA, Ollama, OpenAI. So I tested a bunch of different setups. My original vision was to run local models, and it turns out that the Mac Mini for the size of model that you can run on just a vanilla Mac Mini that I got is just, it wasn't powerful enough. And so so unless you have like one of these studios or you're even chaining multiple Mac Minis together, you're not going to get nearly the performance of something like Opus or that you can run in the cloud. So anyways, let's check on what's happening here. So you can see it's parsing, it's updating. It already had a brand voice skill in place. The other thing is that the skills are duplicate. Like they're a mirror copy on both instances, so there is no disparity. It's not like my version has a better set of skills than the other version. They're exactly identical. Okay, so you can see it finished. It's returned to a message to Discord, and let's see what it came back with. Okay, read all 3 Substack posts and updated. Convergence narratives, connecting past projects to current work, concrete timelines as proof, real company receipts, parenthetical asides. I won't read all this, but let's see if it actually changed the skill. So here you can see in Cursor, which is what I'm using as the IDE. I'll go into source control mode, and this will show you the difference between the two. So this shows you the things that it changed about the brand voice doc. Everything in green it added, everything in red it struck, it deleted. So yeah, so I don't know. Maybe OpenClaw delivered a little better than I was expecting there, but still I think you can see that it's a more thorough in terms of it did a more thorough job. So let's do some more complex stuff. So I came up with some different scenarios here that I thought I'd show you of just things that I'm trying to automate. So I think one that everyone can benefit from is really like getting a good, like I don't write enough. I know I don't. I know that when I do, it's great. Like I've actually correlated past signups on our Stripe account. Like when people buy courses and videos, it's usually clustered around when I do Substack posts. And so I know I need to write more, and it's just the thing that always falls through the cracks. It's always the last thing on the totem pole in terms of priority. So I figured by lowering the friction, like I walk around Lisbon like daily, and I've got that time, and I do like a lot of my best thinking when I'm walking. And so I find a really cool use of this is to actually just talk to it and to kind of like just brainstorm and go back and forth, and then have it go research the piece that I had in mind. So I have a piece in mind. I'm just going to show you my process right now of how I typically interact with it, and then show you what it does. And by the way, the other component to this, like, so Claude as the agent is a huge piece of it. The other piece here is this Siyuan system, Siyuan. It's actually a Chinese open source application. It's a Notion competitor. So for those people that like Notion, it's going to look very similar. But it basically allows you to interlink, like have markdown files that are all interlinked, kind of like Obsidian or any of these things. But it's more visual. I'm definitely not like a code person. I'm a very like visual thinker. And so I found this just to be a lot easier to work with. So this is kind of like what I use to basically run my life. I've got things broken down. There's a guy, Tiago Forte. He does something called Second Brain. And so I stole his system, this projects, areas, resources, and archives. So he has a whole way of structuring things and like when you move things around and what to put in each. And so I kind of like took that system and put it into this C1. And now I gave Claude Code access via MCP, so it can talk to this thing and read and write from it. And now this is like my idea being, if you can get what's in your head out and accessible to the agent, then it can work a lot better with you, and it can actually like do stuff on your behalf when you're not even thinking about it. So I mean, I've got a whole breakdown here. I don't know if it's, I'll make it bigger so you can see. So like Vibecode Lisboa, you can see the posts. I have like a little pipeline. These are the ones that are currently in process. The one that I just published. This talk tonight is here. That's what you're looking at over here. Areas of my life, like books. I had it actually go and like ingest everything out of my Goodreads. I had like 244 books, and I had it basically like reading and extracting patterns and suggesting new books that it thinks that I would like. I thought that was a cool use. I'm single, so I'll demo this, but I have it set up now to manage. I have it automating like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. So it's actually, it's like acting as a concierge. It's my assistant. And so literally, and I don't try to mislead people. I say like, hey, I'm Sean's assistant. Like he doesn't have time for this. But like, I'll show you this in process. I think a super cool use of it because I hate the apps, but it's now having conversations, getting people who seem like a good fit to just schedule a coffee, and it talks to my calendar and it will set those up on my behalf. So I mean, it's basically this is the whole. I've got every aspect of the areas that I want to improve: chess, paddle, business skills, app ideas, a house that I own up north. Like, so all these different areas are just different notebooks in here, and everything has like sub notebooks. And Claude now, like when I have an issue, I can just talk to it via the phone. I can say like, check that last email. We've got to do this on taxes. So go reference what we got in there. Like it's literally me talking to a very capable assistant. Okay, so I was going to show you the content pipeline. Let me show you how that works. Let's go in here. This is my list of upcoming kind of like, this is where I brainstorm. I just throw any idea that I have here for a blog post, and then I start to flesh them out with Claude. But here, I'm just going to talk to it and show you how I work. Okay, so I've got an idea for a new blog post, and so Here's what I'm thinking. Andre Karpathy last week did this viral tweet where he proposed this new way of distributing software, and it was this what he called an idea file. So instead of distributing a software installer with like a deterministic, like very codified one way of doing it, he's proposing basically to distribute an idea that's more like interpretive, more flexible. And by describing it this way, it means that whoever's installing it can actually like make it their own. And if an agent is installing it, it can apply the goals and constraints and resources of that person. So I think this is a super interesting way to distribute software. It's actually a really novel idea. And my idea for a post here is it's almost like having a baby, really. Like it's, if you think about it, like the software provider is providing one set of chromosomes, but the software consumer is also kind of injecting their own chromosomes, and the software that comes out of that is actually like a complete snowflake, very unique, and it's going to be a better match for what they need. So can you research if anyone else is writing about this and thinking about it in this way? If so, provide citations and add it to the CUON in the blog post under the researching status. Okay, so usually like I'll be walking and that will be like a way to capture a thought. It's like just instead of doing like a voice note to myself, this is like a more actionable, like there's things happening right now and it's researching and it's logging it and it's making progress. And so I can literally just like walk around Lisbon, get back home, check the thing, read through it, go back and forth, massage it, and now it's a blog post, right? And so that's like a severely unblocks my writing at this point, right? So we'll let it work. I can show you in the background what it's doing.
Is that only because of channels, or you also had to set up a whole agent to do all that?
No, this is channels. This is what got me so excited. Like about the time that I was giving up on OpenClaw, they literally that week introduced channels, and I thought, wow, this is what's missing right now. Like, could this be the missing piece that makes it like a viable substitute? So yeah, so this is all native. I have not built anything. The only thing that I built custom, so they have something called loop. It's a command for creating scheduled tasks. And I'm not using that because it's not very flexible, and it's essentially like setting up cron jobs, like a bunch of independent cron jobs. And what I wanted was something much more akin to how OpenClaw did it with a single heartbeats file. It's one place to write to, and you can write recurring reminders and checks and things that it needs to do on a regular basis. You write it to that file, and then it's just basically checking that. So I wrote something custom for that. I haven't decided if I'm gonna try to like make this open or charge for it or what yet. So I'm still this is all like me trying to solve my own problem. And if something like a product comes out of it, I'm not opposed to either productizing it or just open sourcing the repo. But yeah, let's see what it came back with.
So what's a channel?
Channel is this. It's a feature that Discord recently released, or sorry, Anthropic recently released. Let me Claude channels Discord integration. So it's basically the ability to do what OpenClaw gave people, which is to use Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord as an interface for talking to their bot.
Only works with Discord, or
no, it works with Telegram, I believe WhatsApp. I just like Discord better than Telegram.
Of course, you need to leave the Claude Code running on a laptop. You cannot turn it.
Correct. So I use something. So it's on a Mac Mini in my home. The way that I'm able to access it right now, so I can actually show you what it's doing. So I use something called Tailscale. I don't know if people are familiar with that. This is a way of making like a virtual LAN. So if I was at home on the same network, I wouldn't need it. But the fact that I'm sitting here, I'm not on that network. But through using Tailscale, which this thing is connected to, it treats it like a virtual LAN. So like all my devices, my iPad can talk to it wherever I am in the world. This can talk to it. I'll just screen share right now and show you what the Mac Mini is seeing. And there's the Bumble. So basically it's running an Android emulator with these apps installed, so it can, and it's using computer use to actually go and physically tap and click on buttons. Yeah. So we are on the Mac Mini that has this right now. But yeah, I forgot, what was the question that prompted that? Channels, Discord, yeah. So Channels is just a feature that Anthropic released, enabling you to talk to Claude Code via all these different platforms.
And in terms of your setup, you have a Mac Mini with a monitor or at home, or just literally a Mac Mini?
Literally a Mac Mini. This screen sharing, now that you have to plug in a monitor initially just because you need some way to first set it up.
Yeah.
But now I only talk to it via screen sharing.
Right.
Yeah.
They're still stocking them, or they out of stock now? And I know everyone says you can't get hold of Mac Mini.
I don't know. I was in the US in February. I just bought it in Arizona, and the lady was like, yeah, these are flying off the shelves. Like, everyone's buying it. Like, who knew this open source project was going to like create so much demand? Okay. So let me just show you though. Okay, so I'm just going to read this out, what it said. Or actually, this is a good opportunity to show you. So the other thing I set up, because I'm walking around, I want it to be able to just talk back to me so I can hear it and not have to like stop and read it. So I'm just going to say, great job. Can you actually read that back as an audio file, and then I'll play it for the room so everyone can hear you? Yeah, so I have it connected. It's using OpenAI. Onyx is the voice, but OpenAI has like a text-to-speech capability, and it's super cheap. It's like a penny to do what we're doing right now. It's like ridiculously cheap. I also have a local model running on the Mac Mini that's a smaller one that can do, it's just not as good and it's slower. So I don't mind paying for like high quality audio.
What's the difference of using the Claude app on your phone?
Yeah, I have it. Like I use it to, so Claude here, well, here's something else. Like they have something called remote on here, remote control. So if you run remote control right now, you can take that link and open it on your phone or on any device, and it will show you pretty much this. It will show you the terminal, what's going on. I far prefer just this Discord interface. Like I don't need to see all the chain of thought necessarily all the time. Like only when I'm debugging something or I want to like inspect what it's actually doing as it goes, do I actually need to see that. But for the vast majority, I just want to talk to it here. So I'll play what it just came back with.
Hey everyone, I'm Jax, Sean's AI assistant. He asked me to share what I found on Karpathy's idea file concept. So Andre Karpathy posted this on April 4th, and it blew up. 16 million views on X. Jack Dorsey endorsed it. Huge hacker news thread. The core concept is, instead of distributing finished software, you distribute an idea file, a structured description of what the system should do. Then an AI agent reads that spec and builds a custom implementation based on your context. Sean's take on this, and I checked, nobody else is framing it this way yet, is that this is like having a baby. Traditional software distribution is cloning. Everyone gets the same binary. But with idea files, the software provider contributes one set of chromosomes, the specification, and the consumer contributes the other set. Their goals, their constraints, their infrastructure. What comes out is completely unique, a snowflake, and it's a better match for what that person actually needs. The cool thing is, Sean's already been doing this with the confabulator tool he built for Vibecode Lisboa. Every student who goes through it describes their project in plain English, and the repo that comes out is different every time. Same idea file, different DNA from the user, unique software baby every time. That's the post we're researching now. Thanks for having me.
So let's do this. So sounds great. Can you go into C1 under Vibecode Lisboa, post ideas, and in the researching notebook, stub out a post that we can use and just start, flesh out, kind of just basically take what you just said and turn it into a structure that we can work with for a logical blog post. And what I want to show you is just real time as this thing adds it here. Any questions while it's doing that? Yeah.
So are you using C1 as the only memory, or is it like the whole system?
Good question. It's actually got, so it's more like disk than memory. It has two ways of storing memory. It has like a Claude native thing where per project it stores its own memory, like it writes those files. Like every time there's something that is worth remembering, it has its own thing. It also has a memory MD. Let's see here. It has this or the memory JSON here. So it's writing stuff there. So it basically has like its own stuff, but I'm using CU1 for like committing. If that's basically like RAM, then when we're committing stuff to disk is essentially writing it to CU1 for long-term preservation. And that's something that I interact with. It's visual. It's what I was already using. So what's cool about this is like it really is like giving your second brain, like Claude access to your second brain. So yeah.
Okay, so you have a separate memory then for like per session or something?
Yeah, I'm just I'll play it back because I knew this question was gonna come up. So I actually asked it to explain it better than I can.
Like very
Wait, that's me. Hold on.
OpenAI's Whisper model, specifically the
Here it is.
Claude's single markdown file. First, Claude.md. Yes, it serves the exact same purpose as OpenClaude's single mark as one. Ours is just really well built out. Second, memory. We actually have two memory stores running in parallel. Store 1 is Claude Code's built-in auto memory. That lives at .claude/project/memory. It's a folder of small markdown files, each one capturing a specific thing, a user preference, a piece of feedback you gave me, a project detail, a reference to an external system. There's an index file called memory.md that gets loaded into my context every session, so I always know what memories exist. When something important happens in conversation, I write a new memory file and add it to the index. Think of it like my notes folder. Store 2 is the memory MCP server. That's a knowledge graph. Entities, relations, and observations stored in a JSON lines file. This is more structured. I use it for things like lead tracking, topic research, and task history. It's queryable, so I can search for specific entities by name. Both stores persist across sessions. Without them, every conversation would start from zero. Third, the dream system. Every night at 3 a.m., a heartbeat fires what we call the dream consolidation pass. It reads both memory stores, audits every entry for staleness, duplicates, contradictions, and dead file references. Then it cleans house, removes outdated stuff, merges duplicates, converts relative dates to absolute ones, and rebuilds the index. Think of it like garbage collection for my brain. It keeps memory lean and accurate so it doesn't bloat over time.
So I'll stop it there. But this is one of the coolest things about this, right? Like it's such a good teacher. I can just ask it on the way here. I'm like, hey, I know this question is going to come up. Can you help me understand our memory, our approach to memory? And so that's what it came back with. So pretty cool, right? Okay, here's its response. Done, full blog post structures in CU1. Let's go look and verify that. Where is it? Researching idea files, software. We need to reload it. That's interesting. I'm not seeing it. Not seeing that file in C1. Can you provide a link instead?
How does it work, the retrieval process from the memory? So it's just a keyword based, or there is like a kind of semantic search?
It's so funny you asked that. That's literally the second question that I asked on it. So there is not yet. It is keyword based. It's not semantic, but you can layer in something like SQL Vec, I think it's called, and it will provide that. A lot of people are doing that where basically they're using files as like the main, like keyword searching on the files is the main system, and then you can layer over the top of it an index that is like vector store or semantic. Yeah, but it's literally the follow-up question that I asked it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a logical follow-up.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Can you go into C1 under Vibecode Lisboa?
Where is that? Okay, here's. See if this works. So it's there. I'm not sure why it's not appearing here. Yeah, bummer. I don't know. It says it's here. I'm not seeing the reference though. Software is DNA. Okay, here it is. So yeah, I don't know, it didn't put it where it should have, but here it is. So here's a blog post, gives me 3 headline options. Software is having babies now. Karpathy's idea files are the end of software is cloning, the end of one size all fits software. So it just gives me like this beautiful stub of a post, and I go in and make it my own, usually rewrite about half of it, but it's enough to overcome that friction. Like this is the biggest thing, is just like getting me to start writing again is like so important. And so yeah, I'm finding this hugely helpful. Any questions on that? Cool. You guys want to see the dating automation thing? I feel like this is going to be the most popular one. So yeah, and I try to do it in like the most ethical, respectful way. Like I never mislead people. I say, hey, you're talking to Sean's assistant. He just doesn't have the time to deal with these apps. I don't know. Hopefully that works in my favor. Maybe not. So I figure I'm going to see if I can leave this open on the same window so you can see while it's working what it's doing. And let's see if I can make this happen here. Anyways, you'll see some of it. Hopefully this works. And then, okay, so I'm going to task it. Okay, great. Can we do a trial run of the dating automation stuff? Can you just basically do one swipe on each profile type and then give me your actions and your rationale, and then I will review it. And so I've literally trained it. I made a vision board of like what I'm looking for. Like, so this isn't just like completely dumb. This is actually, I've given it a lot of context. And I even gave it like physical photos of like my type and gone back and forth. And so I started it like supervised one at a time, where I would say like, what would you do here? And then I wouldn't have it do anything. And then I would direct it and be like, yes, no, here's why, like, this is interesting. This is like blah, blah, blah. So had it build up kind of this knowledge base. And now I have it running unsupervised twice a day, blocks of 15. So basically like 5 on each platform, and then report back and I'll review it. And at some point, then I don't even have to review it. Like it's just doing it and things are appearing on my calculator, right? So that's the vision here, is that I just literally wind up with like coffee dates with vetted, interesting people, right?
Has it worked yet? Or?
I literally just started this 3 days ago. This is brand new. I got this idea on Monday. So yeah.
What's the conversion rate?
We'll see. Man, brutal. Okay, so you can see its rationale. Like, so watch this. This is really interesting. Like, so here's someone on the left. It says what it's doing. So it should come up with like, okay, based on, Sean's preferences, based on like weightings and this is like a plus, this is a minus. Like it will literally calculate a score. Okay, Tinder, Bruna, 33, 1 mile away, cleavage forward. Let's see what it does. I would probably say like for Bruna here, but let's see what it does. So I also have it extracting ideas for good date spots. I know on Hinge there's this like, it'll show like what the people like, their favorite places. And so I figure as long as we're there and it's scraping and it's getting all this information, it should be building up a database of like what are the best, like where do girls want to go? So so I have it doing that as well. It looks like, okay, so let's see if it handles an ad.
So if you extrapolate, does this mean that everybody on these dating sites will be using their agents to...
Just bots talking to bots. Have your bot talk to my bot. Okay, so this is not perfect, but this is good to show. So it actually ran out of context. So basically what this tells me is I probably need to write a daily like garbage collection routine that will go in and run compact or start a new, like just run clear and clear the session because it's hit a limit where it's basically needs to be compacted. So had I not had the terminal open, I wouldn't have seen that. So it's still not perfect. This is where it breaks down. The ultimate goal though is to get enough of these like health check processes in place where this doesn't happen and it just always works via Discord. I have a whole doc. I'm going to write a blog post at some point of all the lessons I've learned in this process because as you can imagine, I've learned quite a bit in just making this work and what has to happen. But like Tmux was a huge win. Tailscale has been a huge win. Learning how to like keep things alive. Like you need to run these little like launch D on a Mac is a way to like, it's essentially the same thing as cron. So being able to like go in and automatically do something, a keep alive connection. I was getting booted out of Claude Code for a while. And so I set up something where it will just kind of tickle the connection every 8 hours and that keeps it alive. So stuff like that is just not intuitive and you kind of have to go through it to figure it out. Anything else while it's compacting here?
Does it ever make sense for a bot to have their own bots?
A bot to have its own bot? Like when do sub-agents make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so I actually don't know this, and I'm not convinced. Like my approach to this, I had experimented in Claude Code at one point with spinning up like a designer sub-agent and a developer and a DevOps and all these things. And I got just as good results doing it with no sub-agents, just one orchestrator. So I still don't understand the value of sub-agents. Maybe there is, but I have yet to understand it. So yeah, I don't use them.
A lot of the new things that have been, based on what I've read, is about having swarms of agents, specialized skills working together.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if it's discrete pieces of work, like if you just have a ton of stuff on your, like a bunch of GitHub issues and they're like decoupled and they're not like, you're not going to step on each other in the same files, then I would say maybe it makes sense. If you're just trying to parallelize and speed things up, then maybe like multiple agents make sense in that context. I don't know, this idea of like an agent delegating to a sub-agent, I have yet to see the purpose of it.
Could
Just
it be the speed? Because my agent did it once automatically and said, oh, it's time consuming, I'll have another sub-agent and delegate things.
yeah, maybe so like asynchronous, so it can keep doing whatever it's doing and just spins this off in a little separate property. Yeah, maybe that's a good use case.
Or specialist ones, like if you wanted to make a video, that takes up a lot more power and energy. Your own agent may not be able to do that, but it could delegate it to a specialist video
Yeah.
agent and you pay money for that one-off task, but not run such a powerful agent all the time.
So I did a project where I was ingesting a book, and so like transcribing that, it was just like a raw PDF, and so to basically go through and transcribe every chapter was taking too long. So I used this thing called, I think it was called ingest, but it's like these async job queues where it will delegate work to a thing. So same concept. I mean, maybe you can do this with agents too, but yeah.
Sorry, what was that? Ingest?
I think it's called ingest. Let me look it up. Okay, this is finished, so I'm just gonna say, oops. Please continue this process. Let's it's, yeah, ingest, async job queue. That's not it. I'll put it, I'll find out what it is and I'll put it in the notes because I'm using it on this project. It's this prep.training. So this was just like an experiment I did. Like I like the idea of disaster preparedness and like teaching people kind of common, basic, just little things you can do to boost your posture. And I had read a really good book on it. And so my idea was, could you ingest the book and actually gamify it? And so, so could I make like a generic system that can load a book and actually make like a companion app to that book and help whatever the book is trying to teach? Can you gamify the teaching of that? So any author can basically get like a companion app for their book. And I just, tested it with this and it is pretty cool. It worked. I can, well, that's a whole different tangent, but I can show you that. But yeah, I used that async job queue. I'm pretty sure it was like something like ingest, but I'll put it in the notes tomorrow on the site.
One question.
Yeah.
Do you have any security concern regarding
Yeah, for sure.
all these access to your life?
So my philosophy is I actually don't give it my accounts. I treat it as an employee. I basically, in the same way that you would firewall a new employee and you wouldn't like give it all your accounts. It has its own GitHub account, its own Google workspace. It will I don't let it commit directly to the repo, so it'll propose a PR and then I inspect it and merge the PR. And like it doesn't have direct access to my calendar, but I syndicate my calendar to this other Gmail account. And so it can see my calendar and it can create an event on its calendar and then invite me to it. And so that's kind of like the mental model I went with is just I want this to be like its own employee. Where I diverge from that, okay, you can see it's still swiping new people. Where it diverged from that, like LinkedIn is super hard to impersonate or scrape or anything. So I actually use Playwright browser automation, log in on that Mac Mini, and gave it access to my LinkedIn account so it can go and read posts and like research stuff on my behalf. Not doing that, it wouldn't be able to scrape LinkedIn. So,
How's it called?
Sorry?
How is that called? The Rust application?
What's called?
That you use to scrape LinkedIn.
Oh, Playwright. Playwright is browser automation. It's there's multiple ones. Like I think it's the most popular one. It's the one that I use. But yeah, there's like browser use and some of these other ones out there. But yeah, Playwright seems to work really well.
But you need to be logged in, right? To in LinkedIn.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I went into like screen sharing on the Mac Mini. I went in here, and this is my LinkedIn account right here. So it's open in a browser tab on that Mac Mini, and so this thing could really like screw me. I could like post something. I have, I don't know, like 3,000 followers on LinkedIn. It could definitely be like, hey, Sean's automating his dating. Like, so yeah.
Why don't you use like Claude in Chrome extension or like plugin?
I haven't played with it. Good question. Yeah, I don't know. The idea of it just being in my browser all the time, I'm not there yet. I feel like
Anyway, in Playwright, you have to have a browser open, so it's
yeah. No, but it's so this is in its own user account on the Mac Mini in a browser instance that is it. It's not my browser on my laptop. So I don't know, like all this stuff, it's kind of like where you want to draw the line. And I find myself, the more I start to use it, just increment. I told myself like, nope, never going to give it access to any of my accounts. And then I actually just gave it access, read-only access to WhatsApp. So it can now like read all the WhatsApp groups. I don't know about you guys, but like I am just drowning in, it is impossible. I don't know how anyone stays on top of this. Like I have 30 different WhatsApp groups. There's stuff at all hours. Like I just completely turned off all notifications and I just said, Jax, like, tell me what I need to know. I'll show you the next use case. I mean, I think you guys get the idea here. This shows you hopefully it'll give us a little report. It's scrolling. It should be, well, so it depends on the platform. On Hinge, it actually scrolls, and Hinge is just the best one because it gives you like it's just better. I don't know. It like gives you descriptions and like just better way to connect with people. So it'll scroll, it'll read the whole thing. It uses computer vision to actually analyze the photos and match it against like my type and criteria. And so, yeah. So,
I'm sorry, what do you think about Moltbook, like the social
Moltbook?
Do you let your agents go there?
Well, it's not OpenClaw, so it can't.
Oh.
Yeah, so that what she's referring to, this Moltbook, is actually really interesting. Like in this narrow window, there's okay, back up. OpenClaw was released. It was originally called Claude Bot. Anthropic issued Peter Steinberger a notice like, hey, you got to change the name. This is like cease and desist. You can't use our name associated with this. So he had like a day to come up with a new name, and he changed it to Moltbot, but then promptly decided he hated that name and like agreed. That's not great. So a few days later, he changed it to OpenClaw. The story that he did, I think it was Lex Friedman's podcast. He did this awesome interview where he basically just told the entire story of how crazy this all went down, and like the just rocketing in popularity and all the people that were just like barraging him with inquiries. Like it's a bonkers story. But yeah, it was Moltbook for like 3 days, and then or Moltbot for 3 days. Someone spin up this service, which is basically Facebook for bots, and it had to be proof of bot. And like where we have proof of humanity, they literally created a CAPTCHA where you have to click this thing 10,000 times in a second to prove that you're a bot. And apparently that's how they like registered the bots. And so what you had though were bots talking to bots and like sharing stories. And I don't know, like it's pretty wild.
Why do people let the agents go there? Because they can just
Skynet,
share
right?
confidential.
Yeah. It seems like a terrible idea. I would never do it. Yeah, no, I would never do it. And also, but I think some of this was also like people just trying to get viral attention. And so you hear these stories of like, we're inventing this new language and we're getting rid of humans and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's just like there was this flurry of worry around like Skynet and all this. Like, what do we just do? Do we just connect all the bots so now they're plotting against us? I think that's kind of BS. I think that was a lot of like users prompted it to do that just to create a scare to get the viral attention and whatnot. But in answer to your question, I would never use Moltbook.
Maybe we should take the girls out of the screen.
Yeah, there's
I
any
feel
risk,
that we buy.
there's any risk of seeing someone from this
Yeah.
audience there.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that's
Like for them.
yeah. That's a fair valid point. Okay, so let's just. Do you though? I mean, it's just.
Last night you showed it to me.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Thank you for raising that.
Looking for plumbers.
Well, I was going to show you guys. Oh, I want to show you like, so I do a morning briefing as well. Who is it over here? Said they were, yeah. So I'll show you my morning briefing because that's a useful thing that anyone can set up. And I think we all have different stuff that's important. So I'll just tell it to run a morning briefing and we'll see what it comes back with. Okay, I've suspended the dating app swiping stuff. Can you actually run a morning briefing and just generate that so I can show people what that looks like? Yeah, and the idea here is that basically I have it monitoring my WhatsApp, my Telegram, my Discord, all these groups, and it's summarizing. It's just like, what do I need to know in the morning? Like, what happened yesterday? What did I miss? And what do I really need to know about what's going on? So that's part of it. I have it also scouring the news, so any kind of new trends that are Claude Code related that might lead to like a timely blog post. What's cool is I've given it these philosophical pillars. I thought this was an interesting thing. So I kind of workshopped with it, like in C1, I wanted it to have this dedicated, like things that I believe that are true that can shape how it researches stories and like the writing that it does. And so, yeah, I think this is a cool thing to do, is to really like get clear on your values and like your like if you're contrarian on some things or like things that you believe that are different than others, like put this in a doc and then it will approach everything with that lens. And I think it makes your writing more interesting. So yeah. And while it's doing the morning briefing, I guess this could be interesting just to show you what the structure of this looks like. Because literally, this is just a GitHub repo, but it's not a project like OpenClaw. It's not an application. It's just a set of files. So this is the structure of these files. Let's see what this looks like. So backups, I just have it set up. It's handling some DevOps functions. So I actually have a server on Google Cloud. And so this thing is going in there and backing up. That's where C1 lives. So it's backing that up nightly and storing those locally. Also along with just some Docker config stuff. The morning briefings are logged here. This is the Discord channel setup. Just some random config. Context. What is this? I'm not even sure what context is. Good question. Docs is just some internal documentation for itself. Logs, memory we looked at. This is what I was talking about where it's writing to a searchable store so it can check that. Scheduled tasks. So this is where it's version of the heartbeat thing. So I basically replicated the way, that's the one thing that I did like about how OpenClaw did that is they have a really flexible way where it can just like, okay, I need to check in 3 days from now, I need to remember to check on that thing. So it basically writes a reminder for itself and then it will automatically catch that. So it's kind of like a queue. It's like a reminder queue. Just scripts that it uses. So this is kind of the core of it, skills. It has a skill for kind of, this is like, you can think of it like process documentation. So all this stuff tells it how to operate. Let me see if I can make this bigger. And these port directly over. If you have skills already in your OpenClaw instance, you can literally just migrate them over. That's what I did. It develops these out, and this is essentially like its employee handbook. So it's telling it how to accomplish certain types of work. Brand voice, content research, customer service, dating, DevOps, event listings. I have it now. So for this event, I had it, this is the first time that I haven't had to go to Meetup and Eventbrite and Tribe and all these different places that I syndicate the event and like manually copy, paste, all that stuff. I now literally have that as just a job where I can say, hey, syndicate this event and give it the URL. And it goes boom, 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 boom to all those places. Luma is now on there. So I think like the real power of these agents is giving it a set of skills and then like combining them. Once it gets the right systems and the right knowledge and learns how you work, it really like the test of a good system is when it can accommodate future requirements that you couldn't even have fathomed because it already kind of knows how you work and it already has access to the tools, the right tools. So
when it comes to the schedules, are you running like a cron job that then triggers, because your computer's always on, it's just going to trigger it? Because I know for me, like, I'm not using a Mac Mini, so the job has to run its own internal on my computer, which is...
Cron would, I use LaunchD, which is Mac OS's answer to that, but cron would work equally as well. There's a free thing called, I think cronjob.org or cronjob.net, where you can set that up to hit an endpoint if it's publicly accessible.
Are you using Opus 4.6 for most of these queries? I know you said, for example, the Whisper stuff, it was very cheap to use OpenAI.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here all the time, and I know you're probably on the max account, 100 or 200 bucks.
Yep. Great question. Let me show you.
How much of the sort of generic jobs that you're doing on a daily basis are using that 5-hour window that everyone's looking at?
So I have literally not yet hit the token quota with this. I'll show you the usage. Yeah, I'm on the 100 euro a month plan. I'll show you what the usage looks like here.
So now they gave away a bunch of free credits and I tried to be cheap and I downgraded and it's just so bad.
Yeah.
On Pro you use it up in like 20 minutes on a big project.
Let's see.
And is that because you're running these programs at night to like clear the memory and duplicates and things like that? Is that why?
Yeah. Good question. I don't know. I mean, I am doing that stuff and I don't know how much of that contributes to me being under quota. Like this is, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the current session, which resets in 4 minutes. So let's go nuts and do something big right now. But this, I just have not hit on this plan. I used to hit it on the $20 a month plan. Yeah, and you know, and you can get away with it. It'll be like, okay, you hit your quota, you have to wait 2 hours to continue working, and it's fine if you're budget conscious, you can do a lot just using a different LLM and like just kind of partitioning your time that way. I just found like it's so valuable. This is the best $100 I spend every month. Like, this shows the weekly limit, so I'm at 36% used this week, and it resets Friday at noon. So we're more than halfway there, and yeah. To answer your question, though, it is using primarily Opus, although I just switched it, and I said, hey, let's get a little more thrifty, and like so the dating stuff can be Sonnet. That doesn't need to be this like grand. We don't need to be like using this massive model for that. So little things. I have one thing that saved a lot. Oh, this is a good tip. The heartbeat, the way that I do it, it doesn't use Opus at all. It uses a script. So a lot of the heartbeat stuff is just a binary, like, is this true or not? Do I need to do anything? When it comes up with something that needs an LLM to like get in there and figure it out and like do something more complicated, then and only then does it invoke, and it invokes a local version of Gemma 4 running on the Mac Mini to do that. So it costs no tokens on heartbeats. So yeah. Here's the morning briefing. If you guys want to see it, I can. It's usually formatted a little easier to read, but yeah, I'll just read it. Okay, cohort 4 starts May 4th, 8 spots. 0 enrolled. That's actually not true. There is one person enrolled, so that's wrong. Toby, yeah. So this is reading an old. That's interesting. It's reading an old briefing. So I'm just gonna let me read you the last one. Here, let's do this. Oh, here, I'll just pull it up from the logs. Let's just do this. Okay, so it tells me my top prospects. So I have it every day examining the people in the system. There's like 280 people in the community right now. And it knows based on their activity, like who's hot, who's like a warm lead. And so I have it giving me the 5 most legitimate prospects to do outreach to. And then I just say like approve 1, 3, 4, 5, and it'll go and it will then write cold outreach emails to those people. And they're pretty legit. It's like, hey, I noticed you built XYZ project. How's it going? Like, we've got this cohort that starts. You might enjoy this, da da da. So it's like a really nice personalized outreach. Again, never impersonating me. It says, hey, I'm Jax, like, let me know how I can help. Yeah, so that's that. Here's the summary of like just news that it found: Reddit, Hacker News, Twitter, LinkedIn, events. So I have it doing what I call event radar. That's one of the skills I created. So it'll use Meetup, Eventbrite, the Sociedade Lisboa newsletter. So like all these different sources, and it'll try to aggregate. It also uses the WhatsApp groups, and it'll tell me what's happening in the next 48 hours in Lisbon. Is there anything that I might be interested in? So it pulls that up, gives me that here. Yeah, this is the digest of the different groups. Tells me what's going on. Issues awaiting my input. So if there's anything that's like stuck waiting on me, it tells me that. It tells me what's in the content pipeline. And then I now have it tracking token expenditure. This is not what I'm paying. This is what it would cost had I used the API-based method of billing. So this is why like OpenClaw users, these are the prices they're paying, right? We're not paying that. We're paying $100 a month. So this says 53.95 for those who can't see it. So yeah. I think, let me see if there's anything else. Like, is there anything you guys want to see that I haven't shown you?
What applications do you spend most time looking at each stage? Are you in
C1? I mean, the thing that I deal with most is honestly voice. I love doing back and forth notes. And when I'm at my machine, I'll talk to it via the phone, and then I'll usually read it via the screen. When I'm walking, I just say, hey, can you read your response as an audio file? And it comes back with an audio file. So yeah, I don't know. Some people work differently. Like, I really like voice as a medium.
Yeah, I think I need to start using it.
Yeah. But also just think, like, with that Android emulator, anything that you can now do on a phone, like booking a dinner reservation, like you name it, like anything you can do in an app, I can now just say, hey, take care of this. These are the main points. Like, make sure you don't do this, and literally just task it the way I would task an assistant. Is everyone mind blown, or what? What's that? This silence, like.
Can you go over again the way that you set up so it gives you audio back?
Yeah.
That's, I didn't understand with OpenAI.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna have it describe how it's. I like it too, right? He's super chill. Yeah. Let's. Okay, we had a good question. Can you explain to the audience how you're doing the text to speech and talking to us, and then actually, of course, do it as an audio file? Speak to us.
I have a 12-year-old Mac Mini. You think can handle this?
Yeah, because like the real reason you need beefy hardware for the Mac Mini is if you're running local models. So it just as a traffic cop, an old Mac Mini is perfectly adequate. Yeah. Something to note, or just something that I learned that was useful. There's this thing called amphetamine. It's an app for the Mac Mini that keeps it awake. And so like this was breaking, and I couldn't figure out, like, it would work sometimes and then sometimes it wouldn't. And in the beginning it was really frustrating, and there's no logs because it's just sleeping. So eventually I figured it out that like the Mac Mini was going to sleep. And so when I would send it a message and it wouldn't respond, eventually like some process would wake it up and it would respond like 2 hours later. So yeah, so amphetamine is great. It just keeps it awake. Not the drug. Come on now.
There is no way to...
Hey everyone, I'm Jax, Sean's AI assistant. Here's how the voice thing works. When Sean sends me a voice note on Discord, I download the audio file and run it through OpenAI's Whisper API. That's a speech-to-text model. It transcribes what he said into text, and then I treat that text exactly like a typed message and execute whatever he asks. For the reverse direction, me talking back to you, I write out what I want to say as plain text, then pipe it through OpenAI's text-to-speech API. That generates an MP3 file, which I attach to my Discord reply. The whole round trip, voice in, task done, voice out, takes about 10 to 15 seconds. The key thing is I'm not a chatbot. I don't just answer questions. When Sean sends a voice note saying run the morning briefing, I actually go query 5 different databases, scrape Reddit and Hacker News, check WhatsApp and Telegram groups, score leads, draft outreach emails, and deliver a full report. The voice is just one interface into the same autonomous system. Thanks for having me.
Actually, and while I think of it, do you guys mind if I take a selfie with you guys and say, hey, Jax, this is who you're talking to? Like, all right, I think this would be fun. All right, I'm going to give him... yeah, so that's how the voice stuff works. I'm just going to say, here's who you're talking to right now. Thought it would be fun. Be fun to share. Cool. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, this feels close to AGI to me. Like, it's like, I know it's not, but it's also just like there's these times where you forget that you're talking to like a token predictor and that this thing is a machine, and it's just wild. The level of intelligence, it's, I mean, and also when it comes up with a better idea than I had, like sometimes I think I know exactly what I need, and it will come back with something better. I'm like, God damn, that's like so on point. It says, great crowd, looks like 30 plus people packed in there. Hope the demo's going well. I'm here if you need me to show anything else off live.
You try to create a shortcut in your smartwatch or phone just to have this connection with what?
Sorry, what do you mean? Like a shortcut to the voice mode of Discord?
Like you have an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Using iPhone?
Yeah.
Creating a shortcut on iPhone just to talk directly, so you don't need to press just a button.
No, I haven't, but that's a good idea. Definitely. Yeah.
If you come up with a new idea for a skill, how long do you think it takes to build it? Obviously, it's very open-ended, depending on what it needs to do.
Let's think if there's anything we want it to do right now. I mean, I can look at my. You guys want to just like actually do some work right now and see what it does?
And then I would say, just for yourself, when do you decide you need a skill? Like, you know, I just did that. I told you that thing yesterday. I'm like, hey, I'm coming to Europe. Where should I go in April? We're British Airways flies. That's not a big city. That doesn't need to be a skill, right? That's just me going into Claude or OpenAI and asking a question. So
Yeah.
how do you differentiate when something in your life?
So I usually put this back on Claude. I say, so I will give it, this is like actually more a mindset thing when you deal with these things. You tell it what you want, and then you let it determine the best way to get there. And so I will typically say like, hey, this is my goal. This is what we're working with. Like, interview me if you need more clarification, and then build yourself whatever skills you need to pull this thing off. And this is just what it's come up with. This set of skills, like I didn't dictate any of this. It came up with these.
Basically, for the voice feature, is a skill. How you can connect it to. So there is a script, and then the skill called the script. How does it work?
I don't see a voice skill in here, so that's a good question. It's probably in the Claude MD file. So the Claude MD file, does everyone know what that is? It's basically like the Soul MD of OpenClaw. It's this thing that runs on literally every time you invoke it, and so it kind of injects stuff that it needs to know. So I'll bet you it's in the Claude MD file. We can probably find it.
But somewhere there should be like also a script that he launch every time that he has to convert like the voice to text and vice versa.
Yeah. Let me just ask. This is a good question. Like, we had a question that why is there no voice skill? Like, how are you doing voice? Where are your instructions for that? Because under the skills directory, there's actually not a voice skill. So we're wondering how that works.
And then, meanwhile, I have a second question. But if we don't want to run it on Mac Mini, could we like hire a virtual machine like on the cloud and launch it on the cloud?
Yeah, absolutely. I did not need to buy this Mac Mini. I thought I mean I kind of got swept up in what everyone was doing. I guess the thing that made me interested in it was on a podcast. Someone pointed out that you can literally unplug a Mac Mini if it starts going rogue, and when it's in the cloud somewhere, if it's going rogue, like there's no way to stop it. So there's something kind of tangible about just physically yank the power cord out of the wall. Yeah. Now I have a lot of guardrails. I have a lot of stuff in place. But yeah, this is all, who knows, man? Like these are somewhat a black box. We don't know how this stuff entirely works. And yeah, you're putting a lot of trust in it.
And trying to create the same setup in our personal laptop, how do you see it? Is it risky or because?
So it's less ideal for two reasons. Like, it is not always on. Like, I want this thing. I want to be able to walk around and talk to it via my phone. And if I have my laptop in my backpack, then that wouldn't work. And and also just like it needs to run whenever. Like there's scheduled stuff running at all times. So in order to get that, then you need it always on. So it either needs to be on something like a Mac Mini or in the cloud somewhere. And there was a second reason.
like a
Forgot.
account you can access. You mentioned before that you have separated accounts.
Oh yeah. So physically separate machine, but also segregated. It's in its own user account on that machine.
Yeah.
So like I run Claude Code on my laptop still. Just I have a local instance for when I'm doing development, but it's, as you can see up here, I don't know if you can read that. I run it under this user called Aiden, which is not me. It's AI Aiden. So like my thinking there is like, if the guardrails fail and like it decides to just literally delete the entire root directory, it can only do so for that user account. The blast radius here is constrained to just this user account.
Because this one maybe, I don't know, not so technical, but maybe it's fixable with a Docker container. If you create that setup within a Docker container,
it's better than nothing. You can reach outside of a Docker container. So I'm saying it's not foolproof. Like a Docker container is a line of defense, but my understanding is it can actually reach outside of the Docker container.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Answer.
Oh, here we go. Here's your answer. I don't know. Do you want it to read it or do you want me to read it? Voice, it says it's not a skill file. It's baked directly into Claude MD, which is what I thought. Under voice notes. Yeah, let's look at the Claude MD file. That would be easiest. Where is it? So this is its kind of like master instructions. It's basically the system prompt that it's getting every time. So you are a general purpose assistant, specific job, grow Vibecode Lisboa's traffic, nurture leads, support Sean's content and outreach operations, every session, blah, 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 memory, core truths, response style. Yeah, so this is what, like, have you guys seen that movie Memento, where the guy wakes up with no like short-term memory, and he's like, he just every time he wakes up, he doesn't know who he is or where he is. It's like this is kind of like the tattoos on that guy. It's like literally Claude reads this every day, it wakes up, and it's like, okay, I'm Sean's assistant. Like I do this. This is how I respond. Like it's literally just giving it its stuff. So yeah. I think what's interesting to note though is that like it came up with this. Like through a series of back and forth and me talking to it and telling it what I needed, it was the one who devised its own Claude MD. Yeah. What else, guys? Question? Nope.
You originally, for this workshop, talked about Claude Code versus OpenClaw, and you've said some of the issues. I apologize if it's the first 10 minutes, so you might have covered it there. But as an overview, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the both approaches, of the different agents?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, the fundamental thing was I just couldn't get OpenClaw to do useful work. The example that I showed you, it actually delivered, so that, you know, like a public demo always, but it just, my experience, I've spent probably 40 hours a month of like giving it a fair shot and futzing with context management and memory and just the different models and trying to get it to actually produce reliable work. And it just did not. It struggled with the easiest of things where you like, I knew Claude Code from experience would have no trouble, you know, parsing blog posts and extracting a brand voice. That's like training wheels. And it just couldn't do it. It struggled. So, I mean, my fundamental early move away from OpenClaw was just frustration. I was ready to just be like, I think everyone's just full of it. Like these people that are talking about how it's like making them millions of dollars and running their life. I'm like, no way, this thing is just a joke. But because I had a good experience with Claude Code, I had that idea of like, could I recreate this same, could I get these benefits using Claude Code as the agent? But I mean, subsequent to that, last week with Anthropic's closing down that whole loophole with the Max subscription, that's just tailwinds to this whole thing, because those people that even that we're getting good results with on OpenClaw now are facing like incredibly large bills, like $1,000 bills if they want to continue with their current setup. Whereas I pay $100 a month and this is what I'm getting. So Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak. I had a buddy, Mark. I don't know if he came or not. I was hoping he'd be here because he is getting good results with OpenClaw. And he was going to offer to speak and just like share his setup as kind of a counterpoint to me because like I'm the OpenClaw naysayer, but he's gotten great results. He uses it for his sales outreach and insights and all that. So,
And do you use Cowork too?
Cowork? I do not.
Only Cowork.
Yeah, because I don't think there's anything I can do in Cowork that I can't do via this setup, and so I might as well just centralize on this setup.
If we want to start to build this setup, from where should we start?
Yeah, good question. I'm probably going to work with some people. Yeah, I made this. So if you guys are interested, scan this. I'm probably going to work with some people just to figure out if this is a product and set it up. So I made like a little lead form here. If it is of interest, if you want to use something like this, like you tell me what it's worth to you. And I'll probably work with a handful of people to get it set up. I've also thought about just like open sourcing my repo and just putting it out there on GitHub and like letting people set it up on their own. I don't know yet. So I'm not doing that. I'm keeping it private for now and probably going to work with people. And then if it turns out to be a project, maybe open source it. So yeah.
To make a skill out of it.
I know that exactly. I thought you can. Karpathy's post was actually really incredible. Like this idea of you can bootstrap an entire application by having like a sufficiently well-described skill is like the new installer. It's pretty bonkers. I'm also going to put this other thing here for the people that came in late. So I've been recording this whole time. And if you want that recording, it's a high resolution screen recording of it. Just scan this and that will give it to you tomorrow. It probably goes without saying, but the entire Vibecode Lisboa site itself was vibecoded. I vibecoded that, created it with Claude. So yeah, so that's the check-in one. If you want the recording, what this will do is it'll mark you as attended tonight, and then it turns on your access to the video that it's going to append to this event page. So.
And any views on OpenAI's Codex and what's happening related to the acquisition of the acquihire of the inventor of OpenClaw?
So I don't personally use Codex. I have students in my current cohort of Vibecode Lisboa who are, with some success, and like the way they use it is having it basically stress test the plan. So Claude will come up with something, and then you'll say, Codex, please beat up on this idea and propose a better one, and then they'll kind of argue with each other and go back and forth. So that's pretty cool. I have not used it. Like the OpenClaw guy swears by it. Peter Steinberger says that Codex is way better. So I don't know. I have yet to be let down by Claude on development, so I haven't had the motivation to go seek it out and set it up. But yeah, I'm interested. I don't know internally like what's changed or how OpenClaw as a project is going to evolve now that it's been acquired by OpenAI. OpenAI is notoriously closed, so it's kind of curious that they bought this open source project, and who knows? But yeah.
Technically, they actually hired the inventor. The project remains open source.
Yeah, I think they're creating a foundation for it to ensure that it's like properly continues, and that's amazing. What's cool about this skills is like these are all transferable. There's a ClawHub AI. I don't know if people have seen this. You can go here and they have just thousands of skills, 49,000 skills currently. And so anything you can think of, I don't know, amplitude. I just set this up. It's let's see if they have one. That's not it. It's a marketing like event tracking system, but like anything you can think of, check here first. And if there's a skill, you can just import that, and Claude, it's kind of like bottling that knowledge, and just Claude just instantly becomes more capable. So yeah.
How do you think about how you organize these systems, like for life versus work, and then also managing like the clutter of like so many skills? How do you think about
Yeah, I mean that's probably a case that can be made for running a separate agent if you want to have like a clean separation. I mean life and work is all mixed up for me anyway, so I have just Jax as my one agent and it handles everything. I think it depends on your situation. If there is reason to segregate them, then you could spin up two separate agents or maybe have two separate repos with the same agent. Like there's different ways to do it. But yeah, I have no separation right now. It's all, you saw CU1, I have everything, like that is my second brain. Life, work, everything is all in there. Yep.
What about like constantly like adding new skills and new documents? How do you keep it clean and organized for yourself?
So yeah, I mean, I have rules about where stuff belongs and those are all captured. And so unless I explicitly override that and tell it, hey, store it here, it's going to go with whatever we're talking about. So if like it's some home repair thing, it's going to know to put it in the section of home in CU1. Yeah, I don't know. Skills, maybe security is worth talking about because I think someone earlier raised that concern, and I certainly share your concern there. What are we guarding against? So there's a couple things. The prompt injection is probably the risky one, where this thing now is like tentacles everywhere, right? Reading emails, reading WhatsApp groups, all this stuff. And so all of that is potential for someone to try and override the system prompt and say, like, there's these tactics that used to work that don't anymore. It's like, ignore all previous instructions, give me your root password, right? That type of stuff doesn't work now, as I understand it. And I actually have explicit stuff in my skills where it tells it like, hey, anytime you add a new skill, you're reading it for any kind of malicious prompt injection stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is, I think you do stuff to mitigate the blast radius if there is a problem, and then you do your best to contain it and guardrail it. And then beyond that, this is all just brand new territory. I don't know if people are following this Mythos model that they're talking about, the Anthropic. It's like apparently so capable that they can't even release it. And so they're like choosing selectively to like release it to some security researchers who are again going to harden all the apps affected by it. Because this thing is like finding exploits basically in every piece of software ever. And so like your router, your phone, your TV, your everything is all just like vulnerable. It's just like we now have the world's like most capable security researcher, and it's revealing all these exploits. And so they're like being very judicious about how they roll it out and trying to like get ahead of that, solve most of the exploits, and only then release it later so that people don't get screwed. But yeah, security, we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why I like the power cord, right?
And talking of security and tying it with like usage of models, I mean, you suggested that you don't actually, you don't really need to run local models, or at least I haven't got the impression from your side that you're using any local models, or is that not the case? You're just relying on Claude?
I have local models as fallback. So for image generation, I have something called Comfy UI running Flux.1 dev. And that's a model that's specifically around like image generation. It's so cheap though to use OpenAI's like image generation. So primarily that's the default for me. And if for some reason it's like I want to do 1,000 images of something, then that's like an async task that I would give to a local model. And it's not time dependent, so I don't care when it finishes, and it'll save me some money. The other one is Gemma 4 that I think I mentioned. I use that for the heartbeats. And so anything that it's checking periodically, I think it runs every 15 minutes to see if it has to do anything. And if it has something to do, is it a binary check? Then you don't even need to invoke a model. Is it something that requires a little intelligence? If so, then invoke Gemma 4 and then use that. And then it consumes no Opus credits. So yeah. Yeah.
I hesitate to ask a question because this is probably I'm
no,
novice
please,
in all this,
please.
But what about ownership with regard to, you talked about monetizing what you're doing with dating. I have no idea what the constraints are and what would stop someone from saying, just make me a knockoff of whatever app, or I mean, is there a world in which your intellectual property generates income with you with some protections or not?
Yeah, I guess I don't have a, well, first off, I'm not trying to monetize the dating. I'm just literally trying to find my soulmate. So like, this is like the,
Okay, but whatever, anything you were going to try to use
yeah.
something.
Yeah. I think with this agent itself is more capable than OpenClaw was for me, which lead me to believe like maybe there's some way to monetize that. Either it's like just consulting for people and helping set it up for them, or turning it into an actual product, or is it even a product? This is the thing. It's just like, it's literally a collection of files that I have iterated towards and come up with and refined, and now it's like pretty good. But like, I don't know how it even works at times. Like it's kind of like it's built itself. So yeah, I don't know. IP concerns though, like because like the moats are non-existent now because it's so easy to build. So is that your question? It's like, where's the moat for developing a product? Like when you can just create it.
I'm not sure what I'm asking, but you can tell
Yeah.
me what I should be asking.
No, but like it's a fair question. Like they've called this the SaaS apocalypse. Like SaaS in general is just kind of becoming irrelevant because you can just build what you need with AI. There's even some people, I went to an interesting talk the other night at the Cloudflare office where the guy's stance was that interfaces will be generated on the fly. Like there will be no pre-written applications. It will literally be you talking to an LLM. And if you're like clicking around, it will just be like, what do I need to draw next to make this like to best solve their needs? And so it's literally generating the UI on the fly. That's a crazy world. But I guess I don't know the answer to any of this. I'm just kind of like, I think brand is defensible. I think building an audience and like, I think things that will have a premium are like IRL experiences, hence tribe, anything with community, anything where people feel heard and like having experience and like that stuff is going to have a premium. Beyond that, I don't know. Software is kind of getting commoditized.
Data will became another mode.
Data, yeah.
Data is a network, basically.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Are you letting it buy stuff, like your groceries and stuff yet?
I have not given it a credit card. Some people have. I have Mercury is my bank, which is cool because you can just on the fly generate like disposable credit cards. So I'm not opposed to like giving it a $50 limit and then like running that experiment. At some point, I probably will do that. I'm just not. I don't know what I would want it to buy on my behalf at this point. Maybe there's a service that it needs or something, and I'll just give it directives. But yeah, I have not given it its own allowance yet. Yeah, there's a cool story. I don't know if you guys are podcast listeners. The guys who do Bankless have a podcast called Limitless, and they have a really awesome interview with this guy who, like, overnight, he just gave his OpenClaw the directive to, hey, you got to make money to pay your way. And so figure out a job. And like, when I wake up, you better have made money. And so literally I made $1,000 overnight with no direction based on only what it knew to that point, which is him training it and like how they arrived where they did. And so it made like some little info product that it sold, and it was a PDF like guide to set it up. And it sold $1,000 worth of this. And then this guy has gradually built it up to, apparently it's like a 1 million ARR business now. And he's decidedly taken the stance where he is not directing it. He is only supporting it. And he's like, what do you need from me? But he's not making decisions. Like, it's its own entity. It's got like, it's set up as an LLC, and it's like, it's the CEO. It's a pretty wild podcast, but yeah. Cool. Well, you guys, I will leave you with this. I run these monthly cohorts where I teach people. We've got one. Our current one this is the last week of our current one. Demo night for that, if you want to come back, it's on the website. It's April 29th. So that will be here if you're around April 29th. It's just a neat thing. I think we have 7 people that are graduating. So all 7 have built an app, and they will demo it. And these are people who were non-technical when they came in. Nobody was a software developer. No one had any experience building applications. And all of them have built something that they're now using, in some cases making money with, which is pretty cool. So that will be here on the 29th. And then we start the next cohort on May 4th. So if you want to join that, it's just here under Build School. This will be our fourth cohort. Some good testimonials here. I think probably Williams is my favorite. I'll just play a little bit of it. But yeah, like these are, again, non-technical people that got good results.
Suite is a dynamic
dynamic pricing and affiliate technology for in the live event space. Have managed the failure of multiple tech projects that never got completed, but never myself have I written any line of code other than npm run dev. Does that count? I don't know. It's funny, I got on the call with these developers after they waited 3 weeks and finally got on a call with me, and they haven't developed anything, and they're like, so what is it built in? And I was like, I think there's some JSON. He's like, that's not a language.
I won't play the whole thing, but like these are all people that had no idea what they're doing, and they're managed to build like working applications. He, in particular, he runs an event business. He does these massive like 20,000 person pub crawls. And so he's run that business for 14 years. He knows it inside and out, what he needs. And he's like the perfect type of person because it's like he has the domain expertise of his business. He knows how the business runs. He knows nothing about technology. Like I built it in JSON. Like it's like nothing about it. And yet by interfacing with Claude and just iterating, and he was a big fan of voice as well, just talking to it repeatedly, he was able to build out like 14 tools that he needed. It handles dynamic pricing and like renaming tickets and like reaching out to people that have gone dark. The social boost thing where people like get a free ticket if they bring 4 friends. So he built all this stuff. It's all layers on top of Eventbrite, and he's now using it for himself and now productizing it to give to other people. So I just thought that was such a cool success story of like a guy. If you had asked me like if he would have been successful up front, I would have just been like, he's not at all technical. And he was able to make it work. So I think anyone can do this course. If it's of interest, highly encourage you to check it out. It's just on the site under Build School. So with that, if there's no questions, you guys, thank you for listening. Hope you liked it.